Are there any free online classrooms that are any good? Well, the answer to that question is yes. Um, I use VooV Meeting when I have classes with my Chinese students who are in the mainland, and I don't experience many problems at all. There are always limitations when it comes to accepting a free account and not going with, you know, the paid account. Sometimes companies have different levels. This is free, the first one, and then of course the second one costs, and the third one costs more. Um, it's a business. All these companies like Move Meeting, Zoom, I also use for free. They're a little more strict now, though. Like if you want to go over 30 minutes for a one-on-one class, you're going to need to pay. There's also an online classroom that goes by the name of Class In, and that's an excellent online classroom. And the free version, I believe there still is one, and you can check into that too. But I already know that you can join VooV Meeting and, of course, Zoom. If your classes are only 25 minutes, you'll have no problem. Your demos. And really, those two right there will help you to get the job done. I also know that this is one of the most popular questions in not only my group, but others. I think my group is the most populated and spot on when it comes to helping teachers to go solo with information and support. Um, it's been asked many times in my group, but in others as well that focus more on freelancing. So all it takes is a simple search sometimes, popular online classrooms, and you're bound to find information. Make a little list of different free options, and then, of course, the paid options for the most reasonable price as possible. Ideally, a one-time fee, but most will be monthly or yearly fee. Once again, though, yes, VooV Meeting and Zoom might do it for you, the free versions. Yeah. What online classrooms work in China? Well, thanks to the Great Firewall, or not so great firewall, I guess it all depends on who believes it's great and who believes it isn't. For online teachers, it's not so great. I have no problem still with VooV Meeting and Zoom. I know there's others out there. You could do a quick test if you're ever curious in terms of whether or not a website is accessible in China. It's called China Firewall Test. That's the title of the site. And there's other sites as well where you can do the test. So let's try VooVmeeting.com out, and you will see, yes, if you know people in China, like I have an associate in Beijing, I can get him to do a quick test. I think you're always better off having somebody who's in the mainland of China, even better, a few different people in different areas do the testing. But this will give you a good idea. I think normally it's right. And Zoom, along with VooV Meeting, are cool. They're good to go. Okay, and of course WeChat, you can use WeChat for demo classes. For classes, doesn't work all that well. You can't annotate, um, you know, uh, screen sharing isn't possible. So at least you have a couple options here, and there's more, you just need to search within groups, ideally freelancing groups, and you're going to find many other options, I'm sure. Um, VooV Meeting and Zoom are working for me and others, and they're great platforms. So, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just go with that. Um, and of course, if you're willing to pay money, then there will be more options available. Um, there's QQ as well. But generally, I only like to use WeChat for the odd demo. If somebody's having a problem getting onto Zoom, or if they're having difficulties getting onto a VooV Meeting, for instance, even though I'd like to use that for the demo, no problem. I'll use WeChat. I'll even use Line, a quick video call, because really I'm the spokesperson for my own company and I want to talk to the parent. I need the parent to be comfortable with buying from myself. A quick little lesson with the child normally, just to prove that I can do a great job when it comes to that, to get a good feel for the learning level of the student, to create a little rapport. um, but really, I'm there initially to cover any objections that the parent might have, to neutralize them and to make that parent comfortable in terms of buying. And WeChat video calls can get the job done in that regard for demos. But for regular classes, no. I would try a VooV meeting, try Zoom. You won't have a problem still to this day. Must I create my own teaching material for private lessons? The answer to that question is you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. However, that might be something you're interested in doing. Perhaps you're more of the creative type and you already have experience when it comes to writing, typing out that type of content. Perhaps you're an illustrator. I don't know. But if that's going to be fun for you and it can help your company to stand apart more from others, and perhaps even after, you may want to sell that curriculum to other teachers. Okay. It's your prerogative. I know that there's Debbie Barr, and she has great stuff. She sells her material to other teachers, and actually, I give some of it away within this package that all my new coaching proteges get. And I give away far more within this package. There's actually over $200 worth of curriculum. Um, I've noted that you can offer it for free and just help teachers out. Share that information. Now, if that's not something you want to do, and it's most likely not, um, you can find all that free information. You can find curriculum for free on the internet, but it takes time, it takes energy. You need to gather all the information and you need to organize it into units, categories, so it makes sense for the classes you want to offer. Perhaps that material needs to meet your specifications because you specialize in a certain area. You got to make sure that it all jives with your overall marketing message as well. But yeah, you can get the information for free. However, as I said, Debbie Barr's got great stuff. It's inexpensive. And there's other paid sources out there as well. It's easy to find. And they put a lot of time, energy, and know how into developing this curriculum. And if it doesn't cost you much money, and it's not something you're going to have to invest in month after month after month, year after year, you just need a really good collection that you can rely on, then fine, right? So I wouldn't even worry about this. Sometimes teachers think this is the hardest thing about going solo, and it's not. The hardest thing about going solo is getting that first influx of students. If you're a coach, right? Getting the first influx of coaching proteges. That's really the hardest thing to do. And then from there, working your referral system, getting referrals off them because you give such high quality service. But yeah, it's all about generating leads in the beginning. That's the most difficult thing. It's easy to find curriculum for free. It's inexpensive to buy. And then it's up to you to organize it in such a way so that it complies with the structure of the lessons that you want to give privately. I hope that helps. What are some of your best strategies to keep students coming back? Renewals. It's far easier to renew students, coaching clients versus getting new ones. All right. People who weren't referred to you came through your social media, pay-per-click campaign, and took a demo, right? Had a consultation and became a student or a client, whatever you want to call them. It's a lot more difficult than renewing somebody who's happy enough with your services. Strategies. Well, it would really help if your customer likes you, right? The one who's paying the money. Um, if that customer is a parent and has a kid who's taking lessons with you, well, you also have to like the kid and they have to like you. And also, having common interests can really help. Now, I think you already know this. You've been servicing for a little while now. We're taking you up to the next level and helping you to go solo. So, here's something you may not know much about, and that is sales. Sales tactics that go on in a very, how can we say, not so obvious manner. Indirectly, they're going on during your classes, okay? A series of little sales mechanisms that you apply, which help students to stay in the zone of renewal versus students who are thinking, yeah, I think I've got everything I need to get out of it, I won't need to renew when it comes time to make a payment again. You really have to show them what's coming up. You have to let them know that there is something coming up, and it's important for them to accept that. They need to be able to meet the next objective. And I do that with my students as well as coaching clients. Like with coaching clients, I have putting it all together here, and they can see from the very beginning in terms of all the tasks they need to complete to the very end, right? And I really do think that's important. I really do. You know, they deserve to know the pathway from the very beginning to the very end. They have something to look forward to. They understand why it's important to reach the next level. You're going to take them there. And they also want to know that you're honest. And once they've achieved all their objectives, then they can be free, right? And they should be good to go alone. So that's important as well. Don't hide what's going to happen down the line. Just show them right away. This is where you're at. Okay, they might not be at the beginning. This is where you're at in terms of your, let's say, English ability, and this is where you need to go. We break that down into segments. This month we're focusing on this. The next month we're focusing on that. Okay, you want to reward them as well. If they send somebody to your company, you have a referral program and you reward them for that. You give them a free 1 or 2 lessons. You might give them a discount on their next package that they buy, right? So rewarding for referrals and also rewarding when they hit a milestone. You're proud of them and they should smell the roses, and this is for you, right? A discount on your next package of lessons. Always be assumptive as well. You're assuming that they're going to continue on because they haven't reached the end of the road yet with you. And if they don't do it with you, they're going to have to do it with another teacher or fail to meet all the objectives. So there's a lot that goes into renewing, but remember, it's a lot harder to get a new student, even one that's referred to you, versus renewing a current student. So set up that referral program, rewards, rewards, rewards. If you're teaching younger ones, have parent meetings where the parents can meet, right? That creates more excitement, increases the chances you'll get more referrals, right? More good feelings going around. Some of them might become friends. One might become more of a tiger mom all of a sudden and start to promote your company within her social media or his social media. You never know. But there's a lot to it, and I trust that you're a good teacher or coach already. Now you're taking it up to the next level again because you want to go private successfully. So you already know a lot of the tricks in terms of getting those renewals. But of course, you want the renewals to be coming to you, not somebody else's company who's acting as the middleman that you have to benchmark off of because you couldn't get those prospects yourself in the beginning. So yeah, always be selling. And remember, renewals are always easier than getting fresh blood. Pardon my French. What is the winning mindset of the teacherpreneur in this regard? And what have they done? Well, this is teacher Cole, and I'm using her as an example because she really doesn't have to do many demo classes at all anymore. She has a contracted teacher appointed to that. And she has a very strong renewal rate, and I'm very proud of her about that. And I want to point out something that she does that I haven't pointed out yet, and that is being innovative, making your company different and better than as many other companies as you can. Even though you shouldn't be focused on competition, really, you're just there to better yourself. You're there to better your company on a regular basis. That's what you're driven about. But she has grown passionate about building her website and creating these teacher channels, which is awesome, not just for reeling in new students because they go to the channel, right? They get a 7-day free trial and then they're billed. It gives them the chance to look inside all of her contracted teachers' classes to be able to decide for themselves who's the best fit for them. Even though her teachers herself, they have a good idea, if they talk with the individual, who they'll be best for. But everybody, who's a consumer likes to be in the driver's seat and likes a smorgasbord of choices and likes to make their own decision most of the time in terms of who is best for them as the teacher, because they are the student. And then they get the demo class on a complimentary basis, which is great. But it's all these little things and the assessments, the homework, the extras. What about putting together camps? For instance, she lives in the Philippines. How many of your future customers would love to come where you live, whether you're in the US, the UK, Canada, or in Korea, Japan? You can create these camps, right? Where they can come visit. It gives your company an additional way of earning revenue, and it keeps everybody even more glued together, more interested, something to be excited about that's coming around the bend. If something is exciting that's coming around the corner, then there's a much greater chance people are going to continue signing up for those regular lessons because they're waiting for that. But you want to find more on the back end to reward your students with, okay, when they deserve it. You want to have upsells as well in the back end that basically complements their packages of lessons that they continue to buy. Okay, it just doesn't stop when they become a client for the first time. That's when you're just getting started. And once again, it's far easier to keep somebody renewing 9 times out of 10 than getting new people to come on board who are fresh. So make it exciting. Give the assessments, give the homework, even if it's an upsell, the homework, right? Give the pre-recorded videos, right? Allow students to access even other students' classes so they can learn from that. Great for reinforcement. And with the homework, why not go above and beyond, because a lot of other teachers won't do this, and allow students to send audio and short video files. And then you can send the corrected pronunciation within an audio file. You can send the corrected mouth movements within a video file. Just a short audio, video, and you can fire that back to them so they can continue to practice, hopefully the right way, when you're not with them between lessons. All those little extras that come after they purchase their package. Now remember, you do want to include so much with the package of lessons, and you do want to give a money back guarantee. But in the back end, why not have an upsell or two that complements the packages of lessons that they bought? Right? Why not? Why not create an exciting event, even if it has to be online, something really creative? Perhaps an event in your Facebook group that they also get to access. Your WeChat group, your Line group. You get the picture. But it just doesn't stop once they buy. It's not just about the regular lessons, it's about all the extras you can add to make it more exciting, to make it more, an encompassing experience. Have them meet. I know Nicole has parents meet other parents within her group. And I'm not sure, but I think they have like a once every 2 to 3 month meeting where the parents get to meet each other and talk, and she gives assessments in terms of the students. Facebook group, great idea. So the events don't just have to be in real life offline. That might not be possible for you, but they can happen online in a Facebook group, for instance. So you really have to make things attractive, and you need to keep coming up with events. It'd be great to have a calendar that you could give to every new student so they can see this is what's happening above and beyond your regular lessons. And they also understand where they're going. They can see the finish line, and they know what's coming up next, and they appreciate that they need your help to get there. So, no, Teacher Cole once again has done a great job in terms of renewing clients, a really high renewal rate, and that's what you are storming for.